Guyana'S moved 4 places up the World Press Freedom Index. Last year, the country ranked 55. This year, out of 180 countries and regions, Guyana is listed at 51. The Reporters Without Borders Press Freedom Index inferred that, although Guyana's constitution guarantees free speech and a right to information, that has not always been the case.
It is important. I think the Reporters Without Borders, they were looking at a couple of things specifically, one including what happened with the cybercrime legislation. And we were actually in contact with the Reporters Without Borders, and they had given us some legal advice on how to pursue some of the issues. What was good was that the government adopted some of those very recommendations that would have seen, if otherwise not adopted, would have seen the criminalization of how we use data.
Nazim Ragabir, president of the Guyana Press Association, the local press, according to the president of the association, is still subject to harassment.
We have been the target of politicians, and you would have seen our statements over the months, some of the things that we've been pointing out, the name calling of journalists, the singling out of journalists, and this general attack. I think one minister of government referred to a media house as a garbage disposal bin. I mean, this is not the way we need to treat the people who are reporting on you. Then you had the opposition leader who continued a path of singling out media houses, singling out journalists, and this sort of sanction attack from people who support him. So that is the form of harassment we are facing in this country.
The attacks the local press experiences is different from what takes place in other parts of the world. But even so, what has been happening over the years cannot be discounted, according to Ragubir.
Like that on Freddie Kissoon, that on Gordon Mosley, who was a journalist, just not being able to operate freely within, covering issues within Ministry of the Presidency, then Office of the President and State House, and then just attacking the economic viability of Starbuck News. Those issues must not be forgotten in this context either.
The president of the association called for the establishment of a better communication timeline between any grouping and the press. The RSF Index evaluates the state of journalism in 180 countries and territories every year. The 2019 World Press Freedom Index, compiled by Reporters Without Borders, shows how hatred of journalists has degenerated into violence, contributing to an increase in fear. The number of countries regarded as safe where journalists can work in complete security continues to decline, where authoritarian regimes continue to tighten their grip on the media. Handel Duncan, HGP Nightly News.